Good morning, good morning, good morning. Hello, everyone. Hopefully, you can hear the sound of my voice. There we go. All right, the Patreon is well behind, so that might take a minute to catch up. Not sure how far back YouTube, I think, is about 10 seconds behind. I'm not used to doing YouTube, so everything I do is usually on Twitch. But if you can hear the sound of my voice, that means something went right. And you're watching Grandma's Games Lab on Saturday, November 29th, 2025. And we are exploring the topic, what is a game? I know no one's ever asked this question before. How amazing for us to actually be taking... No. Happy Saturday, everyone. Happy Saturday. We have a pillow and blanket for it over on Grandma Plays a Game on Twitch, so I suppose I could always bring that over here and give people a chance to hang out in the pillow and blanket fort. I like this image. I'll be taking you on a tour of this location today, a video tour. So we will be getting a much better look at this magnificent location that's about 45 minutes away from me. Fabulous humans running it, and really anyone who's ever dreamt of having a game store, wait till you see this. But welcome in, welcome in. Thank you for choosing to watch Grandma's Games Lab. Hopefully you have a link for the Patreon so that you can join us there. Always happy to receive support from people who enjoy this content. This is a passion project for me to explore the intersections of games, brains, and history, some of my favorite hobbies. And today, I thought, we're starting with basics. This is probably, episode 4 or 5. And we're just building the structure of what Games Lab is here to do. So we alternate each week between a discussion episode and then there's a game demo episode. So yeah, the game demo is giving me a bit of a challenge because I kind of want to do a game that's not a game, or a game that is counterintuitive as a game, but maybe we should just go and look at the slides and take a peek at what I've put together for today. So there it is. Grandma's Games Lab. What is a game? Let's look at the basics. Okay. So, core elements. I've done a lot of reading, a lot of watching. I've been involved with gaming forever. I've said to people before, the VIC-20 era, I had an external cassette drive and we had to provide our own TV to be a monitor. But yeah, so let's look at what are the core elements of a game. By definition, as we found in our very first episode from the fabulous program on YouTube, Words Unraveled, if you don't follow it, go follow it. Jess and Rob are fabulous etymologists. The core element, really, just in the definition of the word, is that it should be fun. Every single definition of the word that they have found throughout written history has said game is equivalent to fun. And I think it's most easily parsed when you look at the idea of game hunting versus subsistence hunting. I mean, they just took it and said, well, this is the fun sort, not the work sort. And that's pretty much what you're going to say. It's got to be fun. Because a game, what you do as a game and what you do as a work can look identical. And sometimes the works can be fun, but the games need to be fun. So that's something you should be finding in every single game. Every one of these items is something I would be shocked if you don't find it in every single game. If you find a game that doesn't have these, get into the comments on the Patreon, please. Tell me. Tell me games that do not hold these elements, and I will explore them. A game should also be voluntary. It's something you choose to do, and choice is really, really important to us little primates. It needs to be an activity, so it's something that you're doing. You have brain function. You're not meditating is not a game. You know, you're vacating, you're letting everything go. A game is going to be an activity. There should be a structure around it. Fence lines that you know you're going to be dealing with. A rule set. A time limit. There is some binding element that contains the game space, separate from other things. There should be a goal. I would expect any game that I'm exploring to have a goal. And I'd be hard-pressed to play a game that didn't have mystery or conflict to it. You want to be looking at something that needs solved. We like solving puzzles. Human brains, very good at solving puzzles. So there you go. Core elements that I sat and went through a bunch of different types of games in my mind, trying to imagine something that was not, good morning, that was not containing all of these elements. And I just really couldn't. So hang on just a moment. I don't know how to use YouTube chat. There, I did it. I figured it out. And if you would like to chat in the YouTube chat, you could do that as well. I can see that. I can't see the Patreon right now. I have a lot of moving parts over here. So yeah, as I look through most of the games that I can think of, even games that aren't games, and there's a whole Jacob Geller, Geller, Jacob Geller video called Games That Aren't Games. I watched that on Nebula just yesterday. That's a lot of wacky stuff. One of them is an LSD dream simulator. But it does contain all of these elements. So let's take a look at the kinds of things you're going to need to play a game. These are just, if you whittle everything down to the barest basics of what constitutes a game, you want words or language. Maybe it's a spelling puzzle or something like that. Maybe it's, like I said, I still hold that a joke is a game. It's fun, it's voluntary, it has mystery or conflict because you don't know what the punchline's going to be. There's a goal. Man walks into a bar, man walks into a bar, man walks into a bar, and I think it contains all of these elements. There's a structure. There's usually a beat to it. They don't go on for an hour. It is an activity. So I hold that a joke is one of the basic elements, the basest elements of gameplay. You can have character role play, you can have puzzles, numbers, dice, cards, a board, or a mat. There could be minifigures or meeples. You could have a game with checkers or other pieces that get moved around like Go. You could have marbles. Maybe it's a marble game. Maybe you're playing a marble racing game. And then on the right, I was looking at more of the outdoor style or large group kind of, I don't know, more active games, that have people up and moving around. And there are table games like pool, snooker, ping pong, shuffleboard, uh what's the air hockey game? Ridiculously fun. There are track and field. You can have team sports with groups of people against each other. You can have 1v1. And then all of the equipment. What do you need to play any of those games? Most of them require a form of ball that is called this sport ball. Baseball, football. There can be a shuttlecock if you're playing badminton, or a puck, or a bat, or a mallet to hit it with. Maybe you're using a club in golf. Maybe you're using a cue, a racket, or a paddle. There's just a huge variety of things that you can have that enable you to play a game. So let's go for about 5 minutes and take a tour of an incredible place that's not far from me, and I just am madly, deeply, profoundly in love with the whole concept. I'm so very proud of them for what they've done, opening up a second area that has a cafe and things like that in it. So let's head over to the tour. This is video that they authorized me to take, as long as I didn't video any people walking around the store or record any conversations or anything like that. But just look at all of this incredible stuff. This is a whole area of the shop where those games to the left are all available for the public to come in and use. So you can grab a game, sit at a table, have coffee or tea with a couple of friends, and just enjoy. Love puzzles. We did puzzles all the time when I was growing up, especially when we would go to the beach for a week or two in the summer, because we didn't have any stuff, no phones, no TVs, no nothing. And my dad would always pick out a big, difficult puzzle and let everybody take a look at the front of the box and then promptly go hide the box. Which was a super challenge for the one that was the photograph of the start of the, I think, Boston or New York Marathon from the sky. And this is kind of going back in the other direction, but look at all of the different types of games they have. Those are all card games, foreign games, 2 French games I see right there, Dixit and Milborn. Games from all over the world. What you're not going to see in this store is a single video game. There's not one. Not that I have any problem with it. I play video games every day. I love them. But this, when people talk about games, they tend to get hyper fixated on the video games. Look at this place. Is it not magnificent? But it's not over yet. There's even more. I bet you see a lot of games in this video that you know. And as cute as that looks, that's not a game for kids. I wouldn't give it to little kids. Maybe I would let middle schoolers. I might let my middle schoolers play. There's a couple of rude things here and there, but you're not looking necessarily at a bunch of games that are meant for kids. This is a whole area of games. These are tabletop games derived from video games. And then this is a large rentable gaming space for groups. People can sign up. Classic games. We're not even going to talk about chess. And then for all of the dice goblins out there, for the clicky clacky rocks, there you go. I remember the first set of polyhedral dice I ever got. There we go. And that is a place, if you saw the not it wasn't a complete URL, but the website address at the bottom is just bookrack.com. So give them a peek. I'm not sure about all their shipping policies. I know that they do ship, but yeah, if you can't find a particular game that you want to play, that will be a fabulous place to go and see if they can get it to you. But massive, absolutely massive store full of games. And they allowed me to use this image. This is in one of the corners near the cafe. And I thought, oh, I just want to set up a little chair that's just big enough for me to curl up and sleep in, and then eat, sleep, read, play, all from that space right there. I just want to live there. Now, when we look at all the different types of games that are out there, now let's actually go to video games. I have Steam. And when I went to the categories, just go, let me see, what do we got? There's more than 45 different categories, and I didn't even include adult content categories because I didn't think that really mattered for this purpose. And you can take any of these games and turn them into an adult-themed game, meaning very specifically not designed for consumption by children. But a shmup, by the way, I had to go look that one up because I went, is that a smash 'em up? No, it's a shoot 'em up. That is the shortened version of shoot 'em ups. It's incredible how many different types of games, and there are thousands of games in each one of these categories. So what is a game? Games are everything. Games are everything, man. So when we listen to people talking about, oh, you play games, I just want to normalize a response that says, oh, you don't? Because as we explored in our very first episode, early humans needed games. Without games, early humans would still be just another member of the animal kingdom. Our little primate brains didn't show up like this. Otherwise, we would always have been like this. And we weren't. We were very primitive. And evolved and evolved and evolved, all thanks to the flexibility, the neuroplasticity of our fabulous little brains. So without games, there wouldn't have been a continuation of synapse building and brain expansion. First mass, then density. Mass is how many dots are on the page. Density is how many connections you've made between them, around them, amongst them, through them. Those two things would not have happened to the degree they happened if we didn't have games. And why is that? Because games are everything that's not work. If you look at animals, animals do work, and then they do rest. But humans have the ability to do work and then parallel work for fun and brain building and brain density creating. Let's connect more neurons by simulating things that we would do for work, by simulating our hunting environment, by simulating the actual skills and abilities we need to identify different plants, different flowers, different leaves. Is this a fruit tree? Should I come back to this tree later? So what is not a game? Work is not a game. And your rest time or leisure time where you're not being active on purpose, not a game. Because as we saw in the earlier slide, core elements of a game: it should be fun, it should be voluntary, it should be an activity, there should be structure, a goal, and mystery or some kind of conflict to be resolved. Games build brains. It's the whole point. Now you can practice all the hunting skills you want live on the job, but if you fail, if your skill is not up to the task, you are possibly going to get injured, possibly not recover that prey creature. So what do games allow you to do? To rehearse, to practice those skills that you're going to need in an environment that is not life-threatening. But they also allowed early human society to evolve. Communities, families, groups allow a social structure because games teach you how to cooperate. They teach you to communicate. You don't even have to speak the same language. You don't even have to have a language. You can play games without language. Games allow you to prioritize and allocate resources. Hey, we only have so many of this hunting material. We only have so many baskets for gathering mushrooms and fruits and things like that. You need to be able to prioritize the allocation of those resources. Which ones are, give the biggest ones to the people who can carry the most, or give the biggest ones to the people who are the best collectors. But another one of the key things, and I think maybe one of the most important things that games have offered humans since the dawn of time, is it teaches us to memorize, and we practice memorization. Every time you play the game, the information gets retread in your mind. And as I said in a previous episode, you have 2 dots on a piece of paper. The more times you draw lines between them, the darker that line is going to get, the more indented the paper is going to be between those 2 dots. That's what it's like with the synapses in your brain. The more times you go over a piece of information, the more likely it is to be easily accessible. And memorization is what allows us to predict, which was another really incredible evolutionary skill that humans brought to the world. We can predict things. And the only reason we can do that is because of pattern recognition and recall. So, instead of asking what is a game, the better question is why is a game? Games are good for you. There's more and more research coming out now showing how games have really benefited people's mental health. I can relate to that intensely. I'm not sharing that story here, but there was a period of time where playing a game might have saved my life because I was in some dark places emotionally in a grief event, and I had something to hold on to, something that was difficult. But I was motivated to get through that game the same way that I was not quite as motivated to get through the grief, but I needed to. So, yeah. Why is a game? Because games build brains. Now, it's just like any other tool on the planet. Games can be used poorly. They can be used to not emphasize all of these wonderful things. They can be used simply to prey on people, to make money, to satisfy, as we talked about, gambling, to satisfy little dopamine releases, to actually encourage a lack of impulse control. So just like a screwdriver can be used to screw in screws, or it can be used to stab somebody through the chest to murder them, games can be used as a tool to do all kinds of things. Part of the trick now, I think, as an educator and as someone who looks at how people are still benefiting from games and gameplay, we have a lot of territory to investigate in the games that already exist, and not to do the whole, how can I create an educational game? Well, think of the most boring thing you could possibly make, because that's probably what it's going to end up being. Pretty much every educational game I've seen 10 years as a school teacher. I thought that Age of Empires 2 was a great educational game. SimCity 3000 was a great educational game. We brought those into the school. Unfortunately, Age of Empires didn't, the technology trees did not grab the kids the way I had hoped, and they decided to simply do unlimited death matches. Oh, 10 and 11-year-old kids, I love you. Okay, that is the end of the slideshow. Okay, there we go. And that's all the discussion I had planned for today on what is a game. So please feel free to comment on the video. This will be going up as a public video on YouTube. You can come over to the Patreon, Grandma's Games Lab on Patreon. Please feel free to support this project. This is, like I said, my passion project, exploring the intersections between games, brains, and history. Our next discussion episode will hopefully involve stories of how different games have actually affected history and the people who were involved in those stories. Our next episode for the game demo is going to be something that challenges our concept of a game. Now, initially I thought maybe something like Jenga, because it is a dexterity game. It's kind of a physics type of game. it's going to be something that you go, oh, I guess that is a game. Huh. I mean, but if you don't find it fun, then maybe it's not. All right. Thank you for hanging out with me here on Grandma's Games Lab. I will see you next time for a game demonstration. Keep your eyes peeled on our Patreon. We also have a Discord. Grandma Plays a Game on Discord. Feel free to join us there for more conversations. And until I see you again, please be kind to you. All right. Thank you again for hanging out with me and for exploring the idea of what is a game. Bye.